At least not today. Can you see the presentation now?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. Yes, I have a new mic today, so I found a huge mic that I had bought a couple of years ago. So I wanted to have better sound today. Okay, so this module number 2, it's about the architecture of the Spera Impact Standard, which we say is trust by design. We think, or I think, or I don't know, that this is the first climate infrastructure engineered for sovereign interoperability, digital auditability, and multilateral credibility. A lot of long, difficult words, but looking out in the marketplace, it's difficult to find something that is in this sort of level. What I will go.
I get the message from Dag here. Get me in. Let me in.
He's just inside.
Okay.
So it's sort of the same sort of setup that we have been going through earlier. Most likely I will add some more slides later to this module, because making the slides, I figure out that we actually should go even deeper without being too technical. But I will break down the architecture. You will see how smart credits are built up, how the zero knowledge MRV system is built up, how this is put into blockchain, the DAO governance, and how it all fits together into a unified climate infrastructure. The learning objectives today is that this module explores the foundation. Here we get another one. This module explores the foundational architecture of the Spera Impact Standard, how it's designed to replace manual legacy systems with auditable, compliance-grade digital infrastructure. And by the end of the module, you will also be able to understand the structural components of the standard. You will be able to explain smart credits and how they differ from legacy carbon credits. You will be able to talk more about the zero knowledge MRV, the governance, validator integrity models, and recognize how the Spera Impact Standard uses blockchain for programmable climate integrity. You will also get access to Spera Impact Standard, or SIS, embed sovereign approval and regulatory alignment, which is the letter of approval and the corresponding adjustments, which then goes into our issuance logic. So that's sort of what we will go through today. We should start just like on a very high level. SIS is designed for compliance and voluntary integration. What we see from the voluntary market is that it's going more and more towards the compliance market. And we are sort of in the middle of those, or maybe it will be one united market later on, at least for all the companies that has to comply with all the different reporting regulations. We have by design, we support Article 6 under the Paris Agreement, which is about selling carbon credits between countries. We support fully CORSIA, which is what the airline companies use and all the aviation industry uses. We fully support SBTI, which is the Science-Based Target Initiative. This is how it was started actually by several different organizations, but it's to push companies not to use like carbon credits and greenwash, but to actually reduce emissions, especially Scope 1 and 2 emissions, and then make rules on how much they are allowed, or guidelines on how much they are allowed to remove by credits to come towards a net zero pledge or a carbon neutral pledge. And as I said, for the first model, we are of course fully supported the core carbon principles, the CCPs, and UNFCCC's enhanced transparency framework. If you don't know what UNFCCC is, it's the UN organization that's behind the Paris Agreement. We anchor this in equity, traceability, and digital transparency. If you look at the legacy carbon standards, which often is the most used is Verra and Gold Standard, you will see that their legal basis is NGO or a private non-profit, while we are sovereign aligned and digitally enforceable. If you look at the data verification, it's often paper for the MRV, meaning you have people who go out in the field measuring the width of the tree at shoulder height, and they just take samples. They're not able to like check the width and the height of every single tree in a field of, for example, 2.5 million trees, which is 10,000 hectares with the mangrove. So they just pick samples. With our zero knowledge MRV and the PMVR, which is where people are going out and putting data into our MRV, we deliver cryptographic and participatory data verification. When we look at the sovereign link, it's optional with a letter of approval, and it's often post-sale, meaning they sell the credits first and then you get the approval later, maybe. We demand the approval first. So if we don't have a LOA, we will not approve the project. And we also have put the corresponding adjustment ended into the pre-issuance of the credits. When we look at the use in compliance, it's limited, only the VCM, meaning it's only for the voluntary market. While we are able to deliver for everybody who are into Article 6, ETF, CSRD, and CORSIA ready. So our standard will put project or make them able to go into the compliance market. And actually with much higher compliance that a lot of the projects in the compliance market have currently. So we're not just a registry, but we're an integrated infrastructure that are fully aligned with everything that is needed. If we look at the life cycle of the smart credit, everything starts with an application intake. Currently, we are working with actually preparing or helping project developers to prepare for the application under our standard to issue smart credits. When the application comes, it's stamped and it's validated, pre-screened, and it's put on an open source or interplanetary file system, which means it's open for everybody. We're not going to hide anything from anyone. Everything is available for those who want. The second we do after the application have been verified and pre-screened is that we put it for approval under the titles of change. This is a process where we look at the ethical, we look at the equity and the land tenure audits especially. Then we put this through a pre-issuance rating, where we currently are talking and working with B0 and Sylvera, which is most likely the two biggest in the marketplace. When they have given their rating, this project will also be allowed to be put on their platforms for investors and for buyers. Then we come to the DAO governance vote, which is a validated quorum approval, and it's put on the chain if it's approved or not. With the approval, we will also then public a signal that this project is now co-investment ready, and it will be synced with the national carbon registries. Then we come to the implementation and the MRV submission, where the PMRV, we use TraceX, which is an on-the-ground app, where we have actually three different persons who take a picture, which is time-stamped, geolocation stamped, and user stamped of the plant. One, when it's planted, that's when we make the claim that we claim that this is a tree that has been planted. Then after a few weeks, you have a forest ranger that comes and take another picture, meaning he has another user stamp, but he has the same geolocation stamp, and this is then the second, where we have the validation that this plant that we put in the ground is actually living still. And then after a couple more months, we have the third-party certification with another user, another time, but with the same geolocation stamp. Then it's ready to go into the blockchain fully. It's approved, it's certified, and then on the certification yearly yearly recertification, that's when we put in the DJI drones and the Orbify into work. And yes, I forgot to put that we also put the IoT sensors actually out in the ground along with the planting. We're using 3B and their Ex Natura platform for that. When it has been planted, that's when we come to one of our risk mitigations, which is the credit insurance. Biomass, meaning the plant, is being insured. We are currently working on insurance policies with two different insurance groups. One is Swiss Re and the other one is Munich Re. Then when we have this insurance in place, this is placed as an oracle on the chain, and we have then everybody knows that this plant has actually been insured as well. If something should come and like a typhoon or anything like from the nature side is insured, so we can replace or replant the tree. Meaning we will replant, but this tree will then not, it will exchange with the one that originally was planted, and the carbon, we can keep our promise to deliver the carbon offset. After all of this, that's when the smart credit certificate is issued. It's signed by the DAO. It's on the interplanetary file system, and it's also in our dual chain registry, which is called the Environmental Credits Repository, or ECR. And that's when we're able to also start sale of the credits and retirement of the credits. This is done on Spirex Cloud, which is for companies where we can integrate with, for example, ESG platforms, like we're working on integration with Pulsora. We're also working on integration with expense systems like Visma Expense. And we are compliance ready also for sovereign buyers. If we then go further down to the autonomy of the smart credit, it has a lot of meta tags. I have just taken some of them. This is all put on this blockchain we have spoken about, but it's like the project ID. We have GIS data for the location. We have the tag for the host country approval. We have the methodology that is being used. For example, if it's a mangrove, this is the SIS M002. We have estimated on carbon uptake, and then after the first year, we have the real, and then re-enter the value for every year. The same on biodiversity. We have the co-benefits, where we align with the different SDGs that are in this project. We have a content identifier on the file system. We have the corresponding adjustment if that's active, and so on. All this data is available for those who have sort of the key to our blockchain, and it's used across the platforms. A smart credit is not a claim; it's an object for programmable trust, and that's where we are very different from others. I'll just try to illustrate how this would look like. If you have 1,000 smart credits, you have the IDs, you have the tags, you have the status, the SDGs, and the XBLR parser ID, that is actually for ES3 reporting. meaning we have already on the chain made the tagging available for example, CSRD or GRI or SEC reporting. If you look at the equity tag, that's, for example, the free, prior, and consent from indigenous people. We will also then have buyer attribution on the chain, performance score, info about the issuance of tokens, and the auditor anchor. So as you understand, it's a lot of data that is available through the platforms. What is maybe the first you will meet is the MRV system and the zero knowledge. It's a multi-source MRV where we can have input from IoT sensors, satellites, drones, the on-the-ground apps, etc. The data is verifiable without us showing the data, meaning without showing that the visibility of the data. This is the zero knowledge part. When we have collected the data, or when we collect the data, it will go through the zero knowledge proof generation. Then when we have generated the proof, this will go to the validation of the DAO. And when the DAO has verified that the satellite or the image or whatever for this plant is correct, it will then become a hash that is recorded on our blockchain. This makes our smart credits tamper-proof. We have real-time confirmation, and it prevents, for sure, greenwashing. I'm preparing currently to apply us to be approved under the VCMI as high-quality carbon credits. And based on what we have and will have for all our plants, we are far beyond what they demand. It also enables trust, for example, in RED+, Cookstraw projects, Mangrove projects, etc. And for those who haven't figured out what ZK MRV stands for, it's zero knowledge measurement, reporting, and verification. Then we come to the validator network governance. And this is maybe where we really have innovation, to be honest, where we go outside what others have done so far. So the validators are those who certify and recertify and validate all data related to our smart credits. They are assigned by the protocol and not by the project developers, which is the normal. Decisions that have impact will require quorum voting, meaning, for example, 4 out of 6 validators. This means that we don't open up for just one person to approve changes that has impact on the carbon credits. When we look at the PMRV system, which is part of this, it's the locals and the community, and the validators are embedded for equity. There are also escalation triggers that will be active if data abnormalities or FPIC violations occur. We have a huge backbone. For example, if somebody comes and tells that, sure guys, but your trees have been cut down, this goes through a violation. This is then messaged into the system as a violation, and then this is escalated and validated before anybody does anything to the credits. The entire validator logic is ISO 14065 aligned, and it's stored also on the chain. Meaning, if anybody wants to look into how thing has been done, everything is there, everything is auditable. We could say that legacy validators were often gatekeepers. They were funded by the project. They were supposed to vet, while we do it using the DAO model, where power is distributed, transparent, and includes also affected communities and sovereign reviewers. So this is not permission review. It's trust minimized system where the logic is auditable, automated, and self-correcting. Then you need to know more about the dual chain architecture. Why do we use two different chains, meaning Solana and Ethereum? This has to do most with speed and cost efficiency, and also with security. So we use the Solana for sort of operation as an operational chain, and then we use Ethereum as a compliance chain. This gives us lower cost than if everything was on Ethereum, and it also makes us able to have audit layers. We can replicate to sovereign nodes and ESG registries. It's like you could, I guess most of you know about Visa or MasterCard. We are sort of the Visa plus the IMF or the International Monetary Fund for carbon credits, where we have fast tractions with sovereign backing and legal accountability. And we leverage Ethereum for smart contracts and Solana for registry performance. Data is not stored on-chain, but it's hashed to the interplanetary file system, which ensures the security and transparent audit access. If you have heard about, for example, NFTs, we are not the Spare Impact Standard is not on-chain like in the NFT sense, but it's climate compliance infrastructure with sovereign grade security and programmable transparency. This dual chain system gives us scale without losing integrity, and I think that's maybe one of the most important things. Then we come to the ESG tagger parser and buyer attribution. This is something I don't think anybody else in the marketplace have. We have put this into this platform to be able to do full integrations with ESG reporting systems, meaning if, for example, I normally use the CEO of Tiffany's, I met him during an event in Switzerland, and he came with a private jet. And they use Pulsora as their ESG reporting system or management system. And his flight is then, of course, tracked, and it's put into the reporting system because they need to offset. And they use Pulsora to see how much they need to buy. Actually, they are part of the LVMH group with 73 brands, I think. So they use Pulsora throughout the whole LVMH to see how much they need to offset or bio offsets. With this integration that we are making with Pulsora, he would be able to directly from Pulsora, or the CFO would be able to directly just push a button. I want to offset this flight. It will then go into our Spirit's cloud, find available offsets that meets the requisitions from Tiffany's, buy the offsets using smart contracts, and then send data back with full audit trails, and then the payment part will be handled as well. So this is what we have built already into our smart credits as tags. Yes.
This is fantastic for our customer. It's crazy. Thanks.
If you look at those who need to report, at least that's the biggest companies, and all of them are using ESG management platforms. Pulsora has the biggest companies globally in all industries as their customers, meaning that can generate quite huge volumes. This slide, I haven't been able to finish the diagram, but this is the letter of approval and the Article 6 compliance stack, where the sovereign issued letter of authorization is put and tagged or hashed on the smart credit. This is the same with the corresponding adjustments, if there are any. And the reason we have put this into the smart credit is, of course, this makes us able to sell, for example, credits from a project in Africa to Switzerland or to Norway or Sweden or any of the big countries that buys a lot. And we are actually with this going further than they are today in the compliance market, where they buy EU ETS. So that's why I say we're more, if we're not in the compliance market, we are actually above them in what we can deliver of data for their compliance. This demonstrates also that we enable real-time regulatory integration via their sovereign nodes, and this can also automate the lateral approval issuance. We are in discussions with more than one country to make their national or sovereign nodes, meaning if they have a sovereign node which is able to integrate with our platforms or the smart credits, it will be very easy for them to do country-to-country sale of offsets. I mentioned on the first module that there are already some Article 6 clubs with several countries in the same club. One of them that I know of is both Switzerland, Sweden, what is it called again? Singapore, and several countries are on this in this club, and these clubs are made to make buyers getting access to credits, and they pool it often. So you will see that, for example, the buyers pool together to go in and buy or invest in projects. How our ecosystem has been set up, it will actually be able to prevent market failure. It stops the double counting because of the LOAs and the sovereign ledger. It reduces fraud via the zero knowledge MRV and the DAO validation. It enforces permanence because we do buffer insurance plus risk scoring, and it guarantees co-benefit proofs when we're talking about impact equity and the SDGs. So we have addressed the biggest failures in the legacy systems, and we solved them through technology, policy alignment, and validator enforcement. I haven't been able to make this interactive yet. That will come when we go into the lease system. But it will be the LMS system. It will be a drag and drop components where you have metadata, you have validation logs, you have audit tags, and those who then do the education through our LMS system, they will be able to drag and drop and make a complete smart credit for a preview. So that will come when we have the LMS platform up and running. It's not possible for me to show this for you now. So let's do a little knowledge check. I was to make a multiple choice, but what sort of technologies do you think power the ZK MRV system?
Blockchain.
Drone, satellite, IoT.
Yeah, there are multiple, but it's the validator part on the blockchain, and it's the different sort of input systems. Can a smart credit be issued without the validator quorum? True or false?
There are 6 of them, so they have to be validated.
Yeah. So we cannot issue a smart credit without a validator quorum. To wrap up this module, as you might, I hope you understand more now. We are the first protocol to integrate smart contracts, DAO governance, and sovereign integrity. Our smart credits are really smart. They are programmable. It's an evolution from traditional carbon credits. And we provide a climate infrastructure, not just a registry for carbon credits. I hope you have more understanding for this now. In the next module, we will go even deeper. We will look at compliance first carbon issuance. We will go deeper in how we connect to Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, how we connect to the enhanced transparency framework and the VCMI's silver and gold systems. So with that, I am finished. If you have questions, please ask, or comments.
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions. The first question was about the DAO voting. So at the moment, like in the beginning, who will be like the voters, or like who are like and how is it evolving with time? Because you're gonna sell the token, no? And then everyone who's owning the token will be part of the DAO at some point, I guess.
Oops, let me see here. I lost it. So the stakeholders in the project will all be parts of the DAO. But the DAO is, or the Liechtenstein Venture Corporate, is established by us. So we are sort of the founder, and we have sort of a gold card. But the future is that we don't decide anything. It's the DAO who decides everything. But this comes later, when we have actually planted some plants and done some projects and follow them through the whole way to the sale of the carbon credits.
So like everyone who holds the carbon credits, so the token who represents, that will be part of the DAO.
The implementator, the investor, us, and the buyers, and also the sovereigns.
All right.
What about the community representatives on site?
They will, of course, they are stakeholders in the project.
So they will be part of the DAO?
Yeah.
And another question, like for the EOT and the drones, they are like managed by external companies, or they will be managed like internally, like that we go, when we go to implement the project, we are going to do that like the project developers, or there's like different firms doing that for us.
So that's depending on the project. The IoT sensors and the satellite systems are unified for all projects. We use 3B, which is an Italian and German company, for the IoT sensors. We use Orbify for the satellite imageries. Then the implementator will we will have the on the ground apps. That's apps where we are like users of the apps, or the implementator are users of the app, taking the pictures. Who will do the drones when we are doing a recertification depends on the agreements with the implementator. For example,
Okay.
we are working with Worldview for the mangrove. They have their own GIS team that has already the drones that we intend to use, which will then just send the data up to the AI layer. Others, like with Better Globe Forestry in Kenya, we are to decide who will do this, if they will do the drone part, or if we will need to have sort of a GIS team that goes around the world and does this on a yearly basis.
Hmm.
All right. Thank you. Yeah, I have another one. For the PMRV,
Yeah.
is there training for let's say for the communities how to input the data and everything? Because yeah, it could be quite challenging for some communities. I've been working the last 5 years with a lot of different indigenous communities, and I was actually asking myself how is this managed that the data like goes into the system in the right way, you know?
So we will educate our people and we will educate the implementators because they are the ones who will use this system the most. But this, of course, we have like a deep dive education, but and I don't know, for example, I don't have knowledge currently on how is the use of smartphones, for example, in Panama or in Madagascar or in Kenya or in Sri Lanka or in Norway. Like in Norway, everybody has a smartphone. I'm not sure if everybody has that, for example, in Madagascar or in Kenya, because you need a smartphone to do this part. But if you look at Better Globe Forestry and also Worldview, they have people already trained to do the planting. They will have to decide and tell us who will do the verification, who will do the validation, etc. But yes, we have education programs for the app, but it's quite easy if you know how to use a smartphone and you have used some apps on the smartphone. It's very easy because you take a picture, you upload, or you log in, you take a picture, and it's saved directly to the chain.
Yeah. All right. And one last question, which is also connected to that. You were talking about the violations, for example, for FPIC, no?
Yeah.
How is this managed? Like, for example, let's say we have a few black sheeps in the community, and they go out and they cut some trees, something like that. You know, like the whole community is cooperating, but there's a few people that don't want to cooperate and they do something different. You know, and how can we manage things like this? You know, because some people they don't see the profit, and then they go and do it like they were doing it before because they're dependent on the ecosystem and they don't know any other way to
Of course.
do that.
I think this also varies from project to project. If you look at the mahogany or the afforestation project we're now working on design of in Kenya, this is on a ranch owned by 800 families.
Hmm.
And there you have 800 families that will protect this farm with their life or the ranch with their life.
Yeah, and then it's going to be some self-justice in the group because it's one leader of the 800. So it's some self-justice if they gonna pop up some black sheep you said.
What is important is that we get knowledge about if the black sheeps have been in there. We are already exploring IoT sensors that can be put on the trees. And for example, hear chainsaws from 2 kilometers away, which then will go back. And if you look at the Panama project, which we have worked on together with WIF, they are already in their planning, including guards, etc., to manage this. What is important is that if somebody comes and cut down a tree that are on the chain, we need to get this report and we need to block it out and say, sorry guys, but this tree is not here anymore. What we will then do is that we will replace that with a new tree, plant a new tree, so the customer actually get what he paid for. But this we need to.
All right.
We need.
Yeah, I think for some community.
We need to learn before we start running, and that's why we need to get up the first projects. And coming from being a scout for 20 years, I know the words or the philosophy of Lord Baden-Powell, learning by doing.
Sure. Yeah, I was just thinking about like when we're gonna do these contracts. I guess there's some communities which are really like dependent also on, let's say, like wood for like cooking and everything. So we would always like need to find a way like that they can provide like this basic like yeah, like that there's some place where they can where they can go for also like get their needs, you know.
Of course, and like I think the SDGs or the co-benefits here comes into play. Or what we put in our co-benefits into a project is super important, because that will, as Eric said, it will make the self-justice even harder. If they see that they get benefits that they didn't have without, and when they know that they have parts of the revenue sharing, which goes to things that are important for the communities, I think that also will sort of regulate the bad sheeps. Maybe we could do sort of a social benefit part as saying like, we will plant this part of the area for you to cut down if you need, but this part you don't touch. That's
something like that, yeah.
Something like that.
That would be good, yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, I have a comment and a question. After having listened to the session today, I was thinking this is an extreme concentration of know-how that we just got transferred, and it like it answers in general a lot of questions, but it raises a lot of questions again, of course, because if you start the experience tour in a product that is not on the market yet, this is for sure. So I think when we manage that the first credit is vivid and is tangible and to be experienced, this one gonna change the world. I'm so sure about it.
Yes.
However, and now comes the question. I hope, Tarek, you agree, because you are the one with the most experience in blockchain and things like that. And of course, we are skeptic right now, but we need to believe in that. And now is my question, BA. I think it would be a tremendous good plan if we now have vivid projects, like you just said, the first project proof, which gonna be BGF, Better Globe Forest, and WIF. I think both of them, either one of them gonna be the first one. And when we do the first project, I think we need to be so concentrated on make this thing happen and we be totally focused. Now the question is, will we have now, if I look at our current staff, which will be on board probably in the next 2 months, and again, I'm totally happy, Tarek, that you are here with us the first time. Will we have something like an implementation master plan? Who is doing what? Like a master plan BA that you're gonna work out, that it's gonna be coordinated, because it's a lot of very tiny jobs that need to be like a clock, that need to function in each other.
Yeah, of course, we need a master plan for every project. But you know, a lot of what also is here is already in the planning stage. The more you plan ahead, the more you get less problems later normally. And I think that's where we're at. When we do the project development document, then
Завершим Олександр.
then we get the rating agencies to see that this is really, we are doing what we intend to do. Then we have a platform for them going out and implement this the correct way. And you know, we start with the satellite imageries as soon as we get knowledge about the area. That's when we start, because that's when we establish the baseline for the project, meaning know what's there, what's not there. And all this, it's when it's the first, not only one time, but we will need to do this for more than one projects. But we will learn from all of the first projects, especially. And having the implementators that we have with Worldview and Better Globe Forestry, they have so much knowledge in implementation that I think will make things easier for us to come and implement this. If we were to do like the implementation of nature-based projects ourselves totally from the ground, I know we would have failed even before we started, more or less. Yes, Biljana.
I just have a question. Maybe I'm not involved in project management, but is there any list about the project pipeline for the moment, about their status?
Yes, we have a list of that, so I can forward that to you.
Yes, because I would like to have a little bit overview and to see in which stage, because my understanding is now that having a project is priority.
Yeah, it is. And the projects that are closest to be
to the execution, yeah.
The closest execution is Better Globe Forestry in Kenya. It's the Roro Foundation also in Kenya. And for the WIF projects, I'm uncertain which will be the first, because there are a lot of projects there. But I'm having I've been invited today to have a meeting with WIF, and I just need to coordinate that with Birgit and Matthias when we can do that meeting. because they want to give us then a priority list from their side as well.
Yeah, so thank you very much. If you can send me the project list, pipeline, and maybe the stage.
Yeah, will do. Any more questions?
No.
So what makes me happy in the end is now people that listen to this the first time and might have doubts. What made me happen is that I can hear from your words, BA, it's gonna be very, very concentrated, very focused. It's gonna be done step by step. And the good thing is that we are now starting the process, if I understand it right, and we have vivid living examples on how this all going to be executed, and hopefully in 2 years we're going to have the first carbon credit. Can we expect that?
I think we will have it next year, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably too much for this meeting here, but I guess we're going to have a lot of detailed meetings to train our staff.
Yeah, of course.
The responsibilities, so everyone knows what to do and so on.
Of course. But first we need the projects we have in the pipeline to come to the PDD stage, meaning they have already got the letter of approval or authorization from the local governments. We have the land rights, etc. That's when we can, like say, now we have the first project that are ready to be approved. And then we start the implementation planning with the, for example, Better Globe Forestry or Worldview. And that's where we really go into the details. Like we start by putting the staff or the advisors from 3B to look at the biodiversity. Where should we put out the IoT sensor? Which sensors should we put out, etc. Then we also start training those who are to plant and those what they have to do. And all this goes through Better Globe Forestry and their people, and Worldview and their people.
I can just confirm and report to you guys, we were able to have meetings directly with BA, coordinated it with 3Bs and with those guys. I forgot the name, who's doing the app and so on. We met them in person, and the programs are absolutely developed, and everything now has just to be in place and has to be interconnected.
Yeah.
We saw it with our eyes. It was really fascinating.
And they have developed much further since you saw them, Matthias, all of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
BA, will there be some kind of a really last question for today, because we're over time, but will there be something for the next stage? Now we are working on the living patient, like the two projects, but will there be also something like a prototype that is more tangible?
Yeah.
When can we see that, probably expect that?
Well, I don't know. Most likely it will be after the holidays, so September, October, somewhere. But far before we are starting to do planting on any project.
And we have the next meeting with BGF tomorrow.
Yeah, they are moving fast.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, if there's no more questions, I thank you for joining today. And the next module is ready for presentation in 2 days. Then it's compliance first, carbon emissions, and then we go to equity and co-benefits. And then we come to the project developer onboarding, the institutional integration, and then demonstration projects.
Good.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all for joining.
Bye.
Thanks, BA. Thanks. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Kan du henge på, Bjørn Arild?
Ja, ja. Skal vi se.